Okay, welcome back everybody. Okay, so you should have finished this one by now. Okay, and I wanted you to also try these three, which are very similar to the ones that I did with you. Okay, as you can see, right, they're very similar. I just changed the numbers, so it should be very easy to do. I'm not going to post the answers for this yet. I want you to try them. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to go now to graphing practice sheet number 2. Now, how is this practice sheet different from practice sheet number 1? Well, in this case, you're going from a VT graph backwards to a DT graph. And I'm going to show you what you have to do. Now, first of all, you still have to draw the lines going, segmenting the motion. Okay, so draw that. And I'm going to do it for all three again. Now I kept it easy, so I only have 2 segments in each of them, but it doesn't matter if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, you do the same thing. Now I'm going to again do the first 2, and then I'm going to leave you to do the third one, and then I will also give you the second part of the sheet. So this is graphing sheet number 2, which I already shared with you last time, and I'm going to share graphing sheet 2A with you today. Okay, very easy. It looks hard, but it's not. Meters per second north. Okay, there's 2 segments of the trip. Remember, if you're going, I'm going to write this at the top. Okay, if you're going from DT to a VT graph, and I'm also going to write down AT because we're going to do that on another day. Okay, we might even get that to that today. If you're going from a DT graph to a VT graph, you have to use the slope. If you're going back from a VT graph to a DT graph, you're using the area underneath a graph. Okay, area under. Hope you guys can see that. Okay, now coming back to this one here. You have 1, 2 different shapes here. And maybe I'll do this in a different color. The first shape is a rectangle, and the second shape is also a rectangle. Okay? To figure out the displacement, I'm going to do this 2 separate parts. Okay, I'm going to skip the description for a second. I'm going to do it here. This is where most of the work is. Okay, so for number 1, and you zoom in if you can, displacement is equal to the area. Okay, now this is displacement 1. Okay, is equal to area 1. And since it's a rectangle, it's length times width. And the length or the width, I don't care which one you call which. I'm going to write the velocity first, okay? It's 6 meters per second north times 3 seconds. Now, watch what happens to the units. Seconds cancels out seconds, and this is simply 18 meters north. Now, what that means is in the first second section of the trip, it traveled 18 meters. Okay? Now, if they don't tell you, you have to assume that the person's starting from 0, 0. If they tell you otherwise, then great, that's fine. But otherwise, you always start from 0, 0. Now, the second part of the trip, okay, D2, actually, I should say change in D2. I'm going to do that as change as well. So why am I putting change? Because it's important. Okay, this number that you're going to get for the second area is not the total displacement. It's the displacement for that part of the trip. Okay, so this is area. Let's keep it blue. This is the area 2. It's still length times width, and this time it's going to be 8 meters per second north times, now it's not 8 here seconds. It's going to be from 3 to 8. That's 5 seconds. So 5 seconds. So that gives me 40 meters north. Okay? Now I'm going to jump back up to the description before I go to the bottom here. In this description here, the object is traveling north at 6 meters per second. Okay. Now you don't, if you put north here, you don't have to put it here. You can, but you don't need it. And also you don't have to say constant velocity because you're giving them a specific number. It's understood that it's constant velocity. But you do have to say for 3 seconds. Then in the second part of the trip, the object continues north at 8 meters per second for 5 seconds. Okay, now we have to use this VT graph and make a DT graph. Now we need to plot some points. The best way to get to plot points is make it a T-chart. Okay, so I'm going to make the T-chart down here, and you only have 3 points. Whoops. Your time is going to be at 0, then at 3 seconds, and then at 5 seconds. And the displacement, where it is now, at 0, it's going to be 0. Now, from the point 0 to the 3 seconds, it traveled 18 meters, okay? So I'm adding 8 here. Plus 18, sorry, not adding 8, plus 18. So my point that I'm going to plot is 18. And if this was a negative number, you would subtract 18. Okay, if it's a positive number, you add it. Now, for displacement number 2, it's 40 meters displacement. So you are not putting 40 there, you are adding 40. So our final displacement and final position is 58. So now we have to plot this. So I'm going to create my axis. And I'm going to try to keep the same colors. I used red for the axis before, so I'll do that again. And we have to keep the same time scale. So I'm going to keep 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but my numbers go all the way up to 58. Now this is going to be awkward, but it can be done. And I'm going to put time here in seconds, and displacement with an arrow, that's position or displacement. Without the triangle, it's position. With the triangle, it's displacement, but we're going for the same thing. Okay, so my maximum number can be, let's say, 60. So let me count my spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there's just barely enough for me to go up by 20s. Okay, so let's say sorry, not 20s. Let me see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Just barely enough. Okay. So each of these boxes is 5, but I'm going to label it 10. Every other one is 10, going up by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and the last one is 60. And I need to put meters down in the round brackets and a north direction in square brackets. Okay. So now all that's left is to plot the points. Okay. Now before you plot the points, you have to put that green dotted line again. I'm using green. You can just use pencil. Make sure it's dotted. So at 3 seconds and at 8 seconds. So my points are 0, 0, 3, and 18. Now 20 is here, 15 is here, so I'm estimating that 18 is right there. That's my best estimate. Okay, and at 5 seconds, wait, can't be 5 seconds, that's 8 seconds. Oh my goodness gracious, what did I do there? At 8 seconds. Sorry guys. That's 8 seconds. I had a brain fart there. So at 8 seconds, they have reached 58. So there's 55. 58 is going to be about there. So now I just join the dots. Yes, just join the dots. There's no best fit line, okay? 0, 0 to the first point, second point, and then from that second point to the third point. And you're done.